going.
Mr. Ganz, you've been in office now for 4 months. What kind of evaluation would you make of the New York City anti-poverty programs?
First, we must remember these programs are launched in a very short period of time under emergency conditions, and many of them have done some very effective work without much time for preparation. But on the whole, after looking at looking over these programs during the last several months, I would say that they're too heavily oriented towards what I call social massage and not strongly directed towards jobs and training.
Well, exactly how do you plan to reorganize this? What are you going to do specifically?
We're establishing a network of some eventually 26 manpower service centers directed to the same target areas which are characterized as poverty areas in the city of New York, where there will be anti-poverty corporations. But for the first year, we're planning on some 16 of these. These will coordinate all the manpower functions in these areas and provide services which lead directly into training and jobs.
In other words, you're going to have a program of consolidation. You're not going to cut away any of the services.
Oh, not at all. We're cutting away nothing. In fact, we're taking what is a fairly good nucleus in some places and other nuclei which have to be improved and expanding them into real manpower services, which means outreach, getting the individual who doesn't come to you but where you have to seek him out, providing extensive in-depth counseling, interviewing, testing of the non-written language-oriented type, directing them into training, having some skill training centers of our own, and then eventually getting them into jobs which provide career opportunities and not just dead-end, low-paying positions which don't give you enough return to get you out of the cycle of poverty.
Well, exactly what programs would you say are the best programs to use as an example for this kind of thing? What are you going to keep?
Well, the best program run by where the training is done by the New York Port Authority is one which is directed towards welfare recipients, teaching them basic office practices, providing them with the skills that can be used by the private sector of the economy, and we have a great number of institutions already looking at this current crop to provide them with job offers. We hope to have about 100% of the current class filled by in industry, in private industry.
Well, one of your main programs is to get people off the welfare rolls. How have these programs worked in the past? Have they been successful at it?
They've had very success, and that's why I keep coming to BEST. BEST has done an excellent job. It's gotten several hundred people off of welfare during the last year or so that it's been operating extensively. And in addition, it now has enrolled, I think, about 300 people who are also welfare recipients receiving training leading towards jobs in the private sector. In that connection, let me emphasize again in the BEST that the clerical skills, which are so desperately needed by the central offices of many of our larger corporations here and also by the small ones as well, need this kind of personnel in order to stay in business here in New York City and also to expand their opportunities.
And you think that your program will be able to provide some of these workers?
We hope to provide a good number of them, and